broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 274 of Gun Guy Radio. I'm your host, Jake, with co-host Zach. We talk about guns, prepping, homesteading, tools, automotive, and so much more. This episode is brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. And don't forget, right now we have a promo with the Firearms Radio Network. If you use any of the Firearms Radio Network promo codes, if you use a WLS code or, any of the other shows that have codes, you get a free Firearms Radio Network morale patch thrown in with your order. Just have to use one of those FRN codes and you get a free FRN patch. So check it out, patriotpatch.co. Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? I think the WLS 10 code, they must use that a lot for a lot of their vendors too, because I see that on like gun.deals for like Brownells a lot of times. Like, use WLS 10 to get it at this price, and it's like, oh, that's not really them, it's like they're getting credit for those sales, but they're not really driving that traffic per se. But hey, whatever, it's affiliate marketing in the year 2023, I guess.
Yeah, WLS 10 works. I just I just posted 2 shows we recorded maybe months ago. So,
well, yeah, probably months ago, because we do this basically once a month.
So yeah, you got 2 coming right at you, and then this one I hope to get out in less than a couple months.
So basically, what he's saying is he's caught up right now. Up until an hour from now, he's caught up for the hour.
That's right. What have you been up to? You've been doing gun stuff, prepping stuff?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I am not really. So my parents were out here for a visit, which they haven't been out here in quite a while, and my dad is a hoarder, and he loves Goodwill stores for whatever reason, and when he came out here, they were out here for 10 days, and I kept putting it off, and on the last full day, I was like, all right, do you want to go to a Goodwill or something? Like, it was not my vibe, as the kids say. But I was like, all right, like, we actually went to go see, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we'll timestamp this so people know when we recorded this. But yeah, we saw that and I was like, all right, before we go home, do you want to go, to any of these thrift stores? And so there was a couple stores, that were not like Goodwill branded, but there was a couple here in town, or in Spokane. And so we went to a couple. One was called Value Village, it's like one of those for-profit ones, it's like owned by a corporation or whatever. But ironically, it was like the nicest store. It was clean, well lit, like way bigger, and it's the only one that I found anything to buy. So, ironically, like, I went in there with like hands in pockets, not wanting to touch anything, and just kind of like, we set a timer, like, where it was like, 2:45. We're like, all right, everybody meeting back up at the front at 3:00. And like, that's your time. I mean, you can't just sit here all day, kind of thing. We got places to go, kind of thing. And so, I was walking back around the electronics. It is kind of interesting just to see the electronics at a Goodwill or at a thrift store. It's just like what people throw away. And, I just happened to cross, a AM/FM weather radio. And I already have one of those small, hand crank radios for weather band, AM/FM, and it has a little flashlight in it, but it's like a smaller one, it's like for like a prepping, whatever, for emergency. And that's fine. And it works fine. But this one was, and I was just looking at a post like literally 2 days before this, and on Reddit, that they were talking about weather band radios and battery powered radios and whatnot. And they were talking about Midland radios. And I actually put one in my wish list at Amazon, thinking like, okay, I'll come back to that to order one of those, just to have a nicer one than that, just a hand crank one. Cause, it's one of those Amazon special hand crank ones. I don't necessarily always trust if that hand crank's really going to store the juice long enough to really use it in an emergency. But
right.
So I was going to buy one anyways. And lo and behold, on the back wall of the electronics section, there was a Sony branded, like miniature, AM/FM dual band radio, weather radio and everything. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it had, it was battery powered. And then you take the cover off and it had like the cord was all wrapped up in it. So it was AC powered plus battery powered. Cool. So I was like, neat. And, it looked like in perfect condition. It had like the antenna, little flip up handle, and they had like an electrical outlet ready right there for testing all the electric items. So I went over and tested it on Electrica, and it worked just fine. And it was like $6. So I was like, all right, for $6, I'll take it home. And so I did that. And then I was just walking up and down the hardware, and there was a Mr. What is it called? The little buddy heaters, the propane, radiant heaters, junior one. So it was meant for the little Coleman miniature propane tanks.
Yeah.
And it was older because I couldn't find that model for sale anymore. Specifically the Mr. Heater Junior or whatever. But they sell one similar to it now. But this one was in the box with the manuals and paperwork and everything. It had been used because you could see the heat marks on the metal surfaces. But I couldn't tell if it worked or not. But it was also $6, and the cheapest radiant heater I could find. The propane ones like that was $75 new. So I was like, all right, for 10% of the new cost, I'll try it. And, today, just before the show, I went over to the store and bought a couple of those, Coleman mini propane tanks, tested it, and it works fine. So I threw that in the kit to have in case I need it. And, for $12 all in, thought that was a pretty good deal. I would never have normally gone to a thrift store just on my own. Look
at you finding deals and bargains out there in the wild world of thrifting,
junk stores
and garage sales. Next, you'll be picking stuff up off the curb and dumpster diving like me.
But then we did go to two other, like an actual Goodwill and another one that's like a Catholic Charities one or something like that. And, it was just garbage. Like I didn't see anything there. So I think I shot all my good luck out on that first one, and, then it was gone. But so yeah, I did it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Goodwills can really vary, the quality of the Goodwill. And like some Goodwills are pretty much just clothes and like old lady crafty crap. You really don't ever find anything. The one from DeKalb where we moved from, that was actually a pretty good Goodwill, the one there.
It was a lot of clothes were in these stores. That's what I noticed. It was like 80% clothing racks. And I was really shocked at how many young people were shopping at the clothing. Like young women were shopping there. Not like poor people either. Like these look like just normal girls, like not hobos.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that go through Goodwills to find name brand clothing to flip on eBay and stuff. And actually, I just bought 4 used Duluth Trading Company shirts off of eBay.
Because Duluth is expensive. I went to a Duluth store here. They have one in Spokane, and I was like, holy cow, this stuff's expensive.
Yeah, for short sleeve and long sleeve button up shirts, I find Duluth are the only ones I like. I have a couple Carhartt, but like I've tried a bunch of other brands, and just the fit and it's just what I like. But the real problem with the Duluth the last couple of years is that the patterns they're putting out, the colors and patterns they're putting out are just awful. Like just really not something you want to wear.
Like too hipstery or something, or what?
I don't know what they're going for. They're just like not good patterns and not good colors and just not desirable whatsoever. I think last year was even worse than this year because I would look and there'd be just nothing. It's just like, I want to buy something, but you guys, and they release so few patterns and colors every year. If they don't have something in that style shirt, you're just kind of out of luck. But I was needing some people call them like fishermen's shirts where it's the real lightweight short sleeve button up shirts and they've got the longer tail and everything. And I love those for just, going to town, or just working outside or, cause they're nice and light and cool. But they're like $75, $80 new.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
So
are they vented too, like fishing shirts? Like they have like the vent in the back?
Yeah, some are, some aren't. Depends on the model. And so I got 4 of these and one is vented like that. The other 2 are just super lightweight. And I don't know, I think I spent like $35, $40 total for all 4 of them shipped. And
you can't beat that.
Yeah, that's like half the price of one new. It's just hard for me to justify spending, even though it's the only shirt I like, it's still hard, to spend $80 on a shirt. It's just crazy.
Well, especially like a work shirt. If you're going to work in it and it's going to get dinged up, like that's really tough.
Yeah. Well, and one or two of these has like a small, like imperfection, like a little puncture or stain or something. But for what I don't care. I'm usually paranoid about fabrics and used stuff. I get it out of the bag. I throw it right in that washer, run it on hot, and then dry it on hot.
Yeah. Speaking of prepping, I was kind of thinking we went to one of our side trips when my parents were here. We went to a ski resort, and they had an indoor water park, and they have the world's longest gondola ride up to the peak of the mountain. And we took it up there. It's over 3 miles long on, you're in a gondola, like a ski lift, really? Enclosed car gondola.
The ride's that long.
Yeah. And it takes over a half hour to get up there. And all I could think about when I was up there is like, what if the power goes out right now? Cause if that wheel ain't turning, you're stuck. I mean, right? You are way up in the air.
You didn't plan ahead for an EMP event, Zach, in the gondola? You didn't bring your rope to rappel down?
No, cause it's way up there too. Like when you're up, when they're loading, bikes, cause it's a big mountain bike mountain in the summertime, instead of skiing. And so a lot of times when they're loading those carts up, they like pause, while they have to get those on there. And so like you'll stop for a minute and you're like, man, if this doesn't start back up, there's no getting down there. Like there's posts every so often. So I guess if you wanted to like shimmy down the cable to the nearest post, but even those posts, I was trying to count how many steps there were, but man, there were, rings on a ladder. It is way up there, and it's a long way down. And when you're up on the peak there, it's like, it goes up like 26 or 700 feet of elevation change in that 3 mile run. It's a huge peak there. It's a pretty crazy run. But it's pretty neat. But I was just thinking, man, if that power goes out, how the heck would you get back down except for just walking it? You can drive up there obviously, because they had like like rescue vehicles up there and stuff. There's like switchback roads and stuff that you could get all the way up there if you had to. But God, it would take a lot longer than 30 minutes to get up there, because it's a long way up there. But it was pretty cool.
Did you ride your mountain bike down?
No, I was fresh out of mountain biking. You could rent them there, but I'm not. I'm a little scared of that. You see too many videos of those, bears chasing mountain bikers. I think I would be one of those guys.
Well, you only gotta be slower than the guy behind you, or faster.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there, so at least I wouldn't be the only one. But yeah, you want to cover any of your smaller topics?
Sure. Good Lord, you got a lot.
Well, I'm not going to go over every little bit of it, but it is one big topic, yes.
Okay, so I guess, real quick. So it's been 10 years since we did the Fat to Fit weight loss challenge. 10 years. Some of you don't know, we did a Fat to Fit podcast back in the day, and then we had a weight loss challenge to see who could lose the most weight. And I don't know how long, like 10 weeks or something, or?
I don't remember the timeline.
I don't either.
Hey, I guess I won.
Yeah. I think you did.
Yeah. Anything to win, I guess.
only took weight loss surgery, but hey. So
winning's winning, right?
Where are we now? What have we learned? I've learned it's hard for me to stay skinny.
I've learned if you need help, go get medical help. Like if you think, I think there's being overweight, like, I'm just, I think there's the difference of you were skinny as a adolescent and then you just added a little pounds in your older age. And then there's always have been overweight and then never being really, properly the proper weight. So I think at that point, you probably need more help than what just diet and exercise can get you on your own. It's a bigger thing than that. And there's no shame in getting actual medical help for those kind of things. And that's where I was at. So yeah, I think if, 10 years ago, if I would have went to the doctor right then and there, I probably would have had a better 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned that not exercising and eating poorly, kind of adds on the pounds, no matter who you are.
Yeah, I had a foreman at a job that I used to work at, and he was, in his late 50s or 60s, and he just said, like, if you only gain like 5 pounds a year, it adds up really quick. He's like, it doesn't sound like much. Oh, 5 pounds a year? No big deal. 5 pounds. What's 5 pounds? Yeah. He goes, if you do it every year, and then he pointed his belly and he goes, this is what happens. And it's like, wow, yeah. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. I keep telling myself I need to, make a plan and do things, and yeah. And then I'm like, I got all this work to do. I got all this other stuff to do that's physical. Maybe I'll just lose it that way.
Got more junk to buy.
Yeah. Homestead corner. I think I mentioned that the well died a few episodes ago. I might have even said I'm just going to leave it because I want to redo it a different way and put like a backup in there and stuff when the weather's cooler, when we're out of the hot part of the year and everything, because it's a big job. And so the solution I came up with, we still have rural water to the house, and then we have a spigot on the side of the house. And I actually installed a new spigot that's higher flow on the side of the house to hook to the well hydrant outside, and then leaving that well hydrant turned on, it feeds all the other hydrants in the farmyard. So that way we can get water to all the animals and everything without having to run hoses everywhere. So I got that all hooked up. I've got 2 backflows in place so the, nasty water and pipes out of the farmyard don't backflow into the house. But so far that's working.
So you're backfeeding what used to be fed by your well with the rural water now?
Yeah, with the house water. Yep.
Gotcha.
Well, and down in the well, the well has, obviously the well shaft, but the top of the well shaft is a pit that you climb down into, and that's where there's a pressure tank and electricity and pressure switch and stuff. And then from there, it feeds out to all the hydrants in the farmyard. So I climbed down in there and I capped that off so it wouldn't just blow water back down the well. So that's capped off. And then when I make a more permanent solution down there, I thought of it as I was doing it. I'm like, why didn't I just put buy a shutoff valve? I'm down, I should have just done that. So next time all I gotta do is throw, a shutoff. And so I'll set it up that way next time. And hopefully 2 solutions for pumping water out of that well. So we have a backup there. So really we'll have 3 ways then to, feed the farmyard hydrants, but only, 2 during the winter, because I won't be able to backfeed it from the house during the winter because, hose freezes and everything.
So what's wrong with the well? Is it the actual pump itself, or something wrong with the well itself down the hole in the ground? Yeah,
the actual well pipe is at the bottom, and I'm sure that motor had a catastrophic failure because it blew apart the pressure switch couplings, the electric couplings and the pressure switch, and the breaker wasn't blown. Nothing else was blown beyond that on the other side of the electric. So I'm sure it had a failure in the pit, and I'll pull it up and we'll test it, put electricity to it, but I bet it locked up or something. And yeah.
Yeah. I do remember you going down there. Was that last year? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's been 2 years now. I've had to go down there. It's been like a yearly thing, yeah. Anyways, hopefully I'll have more updates on that in the fall. We are getting a lot more rain now, which is great. A lot more rain than last year. We still have, last year we had a grasshopper plague that ate everything. Even some of the evergreens they ate. And there's a bunch of baby grasshoppers again, so yay.
Can you kill them with anything, or?
There's 2. I mean, when I say plague, it's a plague. There's no way to kill that many grasshoppers.
Huh.
You walk through the yard and it's like the yard moves. It's just like, yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. And at night, if you listen close, you can hear them all eating, like munching. Yeah.
Come to South Dakota, they said.
Yeah. Anyways, so that chicken house wagon I mentioned might have been 2 episodes ago. So you and me talking, it would have been a long time ago. I finished that up. I ended up having to pull it all apart because the floor in it was rotten. And so I built a new floor, much better design, much stronger, put sides back on it, put a curved roof on it, so it kind of looks like a settler's wagon or a gypsy wagon or something. Mm-hmm. And it's got opaque white panels on the top, so it doesn't let direct sunlight through, but it lets filtered light through. So it hopefully keeps the heat down a little bit, but provides light inside there. And then I put vents. Speaking of clearance and stuff, I bought register vents, like floor vents that you can open and close, or wall vents. I don't know what they were. but they were like normally, well over $20 or on clearance for $1 each. So I got 2 of those and I spray painted them with, outside, enamel paint and put those on there so we can open and close vents on it and have a door that a person can walk through. And then at the bottom of that door is a little chicken door that you can flip up. And then on the opposite end of the wagon are 3 nesting boxes that you can open a door from the outside to get eggs out without going.
Is this the chicken coop you needed because your daughters you had to separate your chickens because of 4-H?
No, that was a room I built in the chicken house, but we had these additional chickens we got that we had to separate from those. And we wanted to, part of the reason we did the wagon was that the chickens mostly just stay on, we have a windbreak of trees on the north side of the house. And the chicken house is kind of the opposite side of the property of that. And so the chickens generally don't go past the house to the north. And that's where the orchard is and stuff back there. And we have a garden back there. And so the idea was that at least during the summer, we can have this chicken wagon as an auxiliary, house out there to have a different flock of chickens stay out there and eat, bugs and ticks and everything. And that part of the property that the other chickens never go to.
Do the chickens eat grasshoppers?
Yeah, they eat grasshoppers. I think they get sick of them, actually. I don't know that they don't eat enough. We had guineas, a couple guineas here, and they were chowing them down, but they took off. We couldn't get them to go back in. The chickens will go back in at night and hang around, their home, quote unquote. But the guineas, didn't seem as apt to do that. And it was a boy and a girl, and the boy guinea was just really mean. Like he was tearing the other chickens apart, like pulling feathers and meat off of their backs and everything. Yeah. So my wife's glad he's gone, but I don't know. I kind of miss them. They were kind of a neat bird, a different bird.
I didn't know the grasshoppers didn't just devour it back.
What's that?
How do you know that the grasshoppers just didn't devour it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You get a swarm of grasshoppers. It just takes down a whole game bird. I mean, let's hope they don't turn, cannibalistic. There's your next horror movie, Cocaine Grasshopper. Also, something really cool happened. I went to buy a planer joiner thing.
Like a 6-inch one or 8-inch?
Yeah, I think it's 6-inch. It's like a jet. So it's, it's a lower end.
Like a tabletop one or like a one on a stand?
Yeah, it's on a stand. Yeah. So
cool.
So anyways, I went to buy this from this guy, and I don't know, he's about 50 minutes from me. And he had some other stuff too, and I get there and he's got this big giant wood shop. This planer must have been just for smaller jobs and stuff, because he had a great big flat top antique planer that you could play in you could play in a 20-inch board on it or something, really big massive thing. And he did some really cool stuff. He had an anvil on a stand too. That was another thing I was after, because I bought an anvil off my grandpa, which, for sentimental reasons is really cool to have, but it's pretty beat up and didn't have a stand. And this is just like that anvil, but in way better shape. And it has a stand. So I was after those two things, but then he's I don't know, it turns out he's 79 years old, and he's, going through a divorce. And
wait, who is divorced at 79?
Well, he must be, he was an interesting guy. He must have led an interesting life, because he said that they hadn't quite been married 20 years yet. So, and I think she was, I'm assuming she was younger too. I don't know. I never saw her or really got any info on her, but, yeah.
Maybe that's when the prenup expired or something.
Anyways, so he was just basically getting rid of everything, because he's he's actually moving out to Washington State. And
tell him to turn around.
I know, right? Well, that's where people go to die, right? No, he was a really nice gentleman. I shouldn't say that. Anyways, he's got all this stuff, and he's just giving me killer deals on all this stuff. Then he's got this pile of stuff that he's it's getting thrown out. It's going in a dumpster. It's getting thrown out. So I'm well, I'll take it. I mean,
yeah.
I
Did you already have a trailer with you or something?
No, I didn't even have, you should have seen the truck. I did 2 trips and the truck was so here's my dilemma. I have a really nice big trailer, but I've got all these sheets of steel on it for 3 different buildings here. And I didn't want to take that off the trailer until I got some of that steel put on buildings and stuff so I can move it around. And so, like, some of the lumber he had was like 20 feet long and stuff. And so a couple boards we did cut down, but, you know, I've got like 16 plus footers hanging out the back of my bed and then just piled like, you know, way higher than the cab, all this stuff. 'Cause just all kinds of lumber. Some really old barn wood that's like 20 inches, 22 inches wide, like really wide, nice barn wood. Other wood, just random stuff like a garden cart, nice saw horses he built that were giant saw horses. He used them for scaffolding for one job, he said. Just a lot of stuff like antiques things like hand saws and hand drills and like stuff I would never buy or something, but like we're probably doing a garage sale once a year, you know, here in our little town anyways. So, you know, I mean, why not pick this stuff up for free? I can sell it at that garage sale. And I even told him that he's just happy that it's going someplace where someone's going to use it. It's not going to get thrown in a dumpster and stuff. And I told him, yeah, I'm either going to use it. You know, most of everything, you know, wood and everything I'll use, but you know, other stuff I can find someone else to use it. And like I got a bunch of iron, like pieces of, steel, all, you know, some are short and everything, but all new pieces of steel for fabricating things and stuff. 'Cause he even had like a forge there at one time and stuff.
Like flat stock stuff or like I-beams or something? Yeah,
flat stock and angle iron and rolled stock and, you know, just a good assortment. You know, it really reminded me of my dad's shop where I could run down there and get a piece of, you know, flat stock or angle iron to do some little project with because he always had an assortment of everything. And so that's kind of what this was. And so now I have an assortment of kind of everything, which is nice because I don't really have that. I just got a few odds and ends. And now that I got the welder working and everything, I've been welding stuff here and there anyways. So
how soon until you buy like a box truck or something?
Yeah.
That's what you need. Like one of those cab over box trucks, like like an appliance delivery truck, you know, like a 40-foot box truck.
Anyways, long story short, I ended up getting lumber, rough cut, raw edge lumber out of, this tree that came out of his yard. He said the whole reason he bought the place was because it had this tree. And
so he cut it down?
And no, it came down and we,
I bought this house for this tree, so I cut her down. Or does his wife want the house because of the tree, so for spite, he cut it down in the divorce?
Oh, that'd be funny. No. No, we had that derecho come through here last year, which was like a long, wide band of wind that came through and destroyed a lot of things and knocked a lot buildings down, grain bins down, trees down, and knocked that tree down. And so that's why he cut it up and processed it. I wasn't there for this lumber. He even had this listed on Craigslist. You know, it's 2-inch thick, rough cut, live edge. So live edge means you can see, you know, the edge of the natural outside of the tree. And like, this is beautiful stuff, you know, stuff you can build, you know, tables out of and stuff.
Build mantles. You can build anything out of a live edge.
Hang on, let me check the weather here.
Yeah, storm or something coming through?
Yeah. We had a tornado just south of here, I don't know, a week ago. I'll send you some pictures afterwards. Yeah, it was pretty kind of, nerve wracking.
There's a basement in your house?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the kids were like, shouldn't we be going in the basement? I'm out there taking pictures.
That's sissy talk.
Yeah. We're South Dakotans.
Yeah. Live edge, you were talking about building stuff from live edges, or what you could do with a live edge.
Yeah, and it's really desirable lumber, really expensive lumber, and he was just giving it away for pretty much nothing. Like just a board of that would sell for, you know, hundreds of dollars. And I got the whole tree, and not just that, come to find out, he didn't advertise this, but come to find out, this is the state of South Dakota called a Grand Champion Norway spruce. It was like in 2012 or something. It was surveyed. It was the tallest Norway spruce in the state of South Dakota at that time. And he even gave me the documentation for it and everything. And so, like,
you're gonna build like one big long table out of it then?
Well, and our dining room table is way too small, and so yeah, I think I'm gonna build a table out of it, and then do like a wall hanging or plaque with the information, the history of this tree. Because he even told me when it was planted, because the relatives of the people that homesteaded that place stopped by at some point. And said, yeah, those trees were planted on my great-grandfather's birthday, and, such and such date in, like, 1895. So, like, to know all that info about this tree and then build, like, a table out of it, I think would be really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you know what style of table you're going to build yet?
Something that, works with the kind of wood this is. Yeah.
Because I built we built that table out of my in-laws' barn floor when they bought their house. That's how
really?
I don't remember.
No, I don't think you told me that.
They moved into that house that had it had like 3 barns in it.
Yeah.
And the flooring, it had cows in it. So the floor was this thick, probably 2-inch wood as well, but like probably 12-inch by whatever 4 feet long pieces.
Yeah.
And it was planks that the floor was there, and the cows just were stepping on it. It was all compressed and just warped and everything. So we planed everything down.
Yeah.
And it smelled so much like cow shit when it was getting planed, because they were just, it was just compressed cow poop in there. And it stunk so bad as we were doing it. But yeah, we did it, and then we jointed it, and then put them all together, and then build a whole tabletop, and then I skirted it, and then we built a base so the top can come off the base, to get it through. Or the legs can come off the top, so you can get it out the door and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
The only thing that I wish I would have done, that I'm going to tell you if you do that, is do a quarter round on the underside of the table, or some sort of beveled edge, because I didn't. I left the bottom edge of the table sharp.
Oh, yeah.
And so every chair that we bought, you push the chair in, it hits the edge. So every one of our chairs has a divot in it where it chipped every single chair.
Well, you even see that with some new store-bought tables. They'll have a sharp edge in all the chairs.
Yeah.
That happens.
So it's too late now to fix it. I mean, I could go. Is it hailing?
I think it's just really big raindrops.
Oh, okay. Sounds like,
I mean, it's hitting really hard. Let me see if I got a weather alert. I got lightning detection. Yeah, after that tornado hit the ground, it was probably on the ground for 2 minutes.
That's a pretty long time.
And, I was on the ground a total of 5 minutes. But I was on the ground for probably about 2 minutes, and my phone did ding me that there was a rotation near me.
Did it cause any damage or anything?
Yeah, it looks like we got a nasty thing coming right over us. It's hopefully just a thunderstorm. No, it didn't cause any damage. It was just dirt. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm in a metal building too, so it's always it's like raining sideways though. It's like,
do you want to just wrap it up like right after that and come back to the other topic on the next show?
No, we can keep going.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you'll have to shoot me pictures and stuff of that. I didn't realize you did that. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, pictures on my phone there, but yeah, I'll show you the pictures when we built it and everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's nice to have that kind of like a story behind your table too.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The other thing too is start looking for chairs now, unless you already have chairs that you want to keep with the table, because it is harder than you think to find chairs.
Yeah.
Like we went to a bunch of furniture stores to find chairs, and it was hard to find ones that fit the style and everything that kind of matched, because they want to sell you a whole set.
Right. We've got a storm rolling through here, so you guys might hear some cows flying by or something. So yeah, it'll be my first venture into building something that big. So my first goal though is to build out that garage as a wood shop though. So I got a good workspace and everything. Because I hate doing wood projects in the shop here because sawdust just gets in every
Everywhere.
part of the shop. It just sucks. So I'm not doing that anymore. I hate even cutting a board in here. I try to always do it outside and right now I got the chop saw set up in that other garage I'm working on. So it might be a couple of years down the road, and this guy was excited that I was going to possibly be turning it into a table and saving the history of it and everything too. So, but I told him, probably be a couple of years.
You really might want to, if you haven't built furniture before, you may want to build some smaller pieces first before you do a huge table, because that's a lot of wood to ruin if you don't do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Like maybe like a coffee table or something like that. If you don't have a coffee table or end tables or something for your living room, something that, cause like if you get if it starts bowing on you, like if you don't plan for the cup, I can't remember the bowing of the wood. I can't remember what the terminology for that is, but you got to plan for all that.
Yeah. If it cups or right.
Plane it.
Yeah. Well, what'd you use, to plane yours?
Ashley's grandpa has a huge wood shop, so we took it there to plane all the boards. Once they were planed, so we jointed them there, used the joiner on them to get them square, and then we used his planer. He has a really wide planer. Then he has a huge belt sander too, like one of those. It's like a 20-inch wide belt sander that you throw it under.
Wow.
But it's not like a belt sander that you hold the piece of stock up to it. It's like a whole press that you slide the board in, and then it sucks it through, and it pulls the board through it. So we got all the boards prepped, and then we did all the biscuit cutting and gluing it up and staining it, sanding it, all that stuff at the house. But he had the planer and everything at his place, and so we did all that work there. So we kind of dry fit it there and then did all the rest of the work at our house.
Well, and I may have to take it someplace to do the plane, because these are such big boards. I may have to take it someplace to have some of that work done. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on it and stuff. That's as far as I got, is kind of thinking it through. But, luckily, I got the whole tree, so that I could probably make 2 tables. And there's definitely smaller pieces to do smaller projects out of anyways. So, yeah, I'll probably do something on a smaller scale first for sure.
So did he have like one of those like portable sawmills or something that he cut it up with, or he must have hired somebody to come out and do it or something?
No, he had previously built a really nice sawmill. Like he fabricated it all up and everything. So he was a pretty skilled guy, and he had an elm tree or some other kind of tree that came down before this. He milled that, and he actually built their dining room table out of that tree. And he took me in the house and showed me that, and it was really cool. Really, long table, wide with a live edge, on both sides. And then he did a giant live edge bench on one side too. Like that bench must have been like, I don't know, 2 feet deep on one part. It kind of tapered on, towards one end, but just beautiful work, really cool looking wood. And he had one spot in it that was a bullet that was, lodged in the tree years ago. So and then one spot where there was barbed wire that had, grown, or the tree had grown around it. And so that was kind of cool that table had those, imperfections or whatnot.
Huh. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Well, it looks like you just went down a rabbit hole and got yourself a whole nother hobby. Yeah,
I'm totally not intentional at all, but I couldn't really pass it up. Yeah, he just gave me so many cool things. Like, he gave me this big length of rope, like this big, think of like tug of war rope. It's like that, like thick of rope.
3-inch diameter
like,
style stuff.
Yeah, brand new. And I was like, sure, yeah, I'll take it. I could do a length of it for the kids for tug of war, but like we're also going to be building a tree house, so we can do like a rope, a really big rope ladder, and or just rope that fireman's rope or whatever. Yeah,
it's 2 truckloads for it, huh? He was probably, when you were taking that first truckload home, he was probably looking around for more crap to give you while you were before you came back.
Yeah, by the time I got back, some of the stuff that had prices on it were in the garbage pile, so that worked out too.
Cool.
Anyway, so you've been working on some kits, some first aid, trauma stuff?
Yeah, I think we talked before about when I did the just first aid kits and like the car kits where we did like the medicine, the pill bottles. And I think, was that last episode or episode before? I think we just talked about that kind of stuff, like the hiker kit, the backpack kits, that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at North American Rescue's website, and they had these awesome, like really expensive, like $700 kits, but they're like a Pelican style cases, and they're meant to be like, you put this in your boat if you're going across the ocean kind of thing, and they have everything in there that you kind of need and everything. And I was like, well, that's really neat, but I can't afford $700, but that's pretty cool, And then just happened to come across on Gun Deals Reddit that the Apache cases, which is the Pelican knockoffs at Harbor Freight, were on sale. And I was like, oh, that kind of looks like that case. And then it kind of, snowballed from there. So I bought one of those orange 3800 Apache cases. And then I bought some of these medical pouches on Amazon. And if you look at the show notes, there's a list of everything and links for the things that are kind of unique that I bought. They're in there if you want to see. Then I was Googling some things, and there was like a Recoil Web article that I put in there, and I kind of made some lists. I just started putting things together of what I think I would have needed, and just kind of hodgepodging other articles together. And then also on that link for North American Rescue, the all-in-one kit, one of the pictures shows everything that's in that kit. So that kind of gives you a jumping off point too. So a lot of that stuff's available there. So I was like looking through Amazon and North American Rescue and just kind of different places where to get these things, and just started putting stuff together. And, their kit is like a hard Pelican style case. And then it has these zippered pouches with, like embroidered tags on it that has like bleeding, splinting, eye care, like these little tags. So in a theory, you just grab that pouch for whatever the emergency is. So I wanted something similar to that, but just, on a cheaper budget option, didn't have to be as fancy. So I bought that 3800 case, which has pull and plug foam in it. So I just pulled the foam out of it, and it's just a hard shell case. And then, so I have it here. So it's, and then I had, my wife, has a Cricut, vinyl cutter. So we vinyl cut, vinyl for it. So it says, first aid on it and everything. And it's orange. And so we, put white first aid stickers on it. And then on the inside, I basically bought these medical pouches, and they're cheap Chinese Amazon special style pouches. And they're meant for, they're meant to be like Molly, attached to like your bag or whatever. And then they have this huge Velcro panel on the back that you can just rip away. And then they have this buckle system that goes on it to buckle it to the Molly back panel, so you don't just accidentally rip it away. So what I did is I cut that off. So it's just the pouch. And then, the Velcro, and the Velcro, since I didn't want them to stick together when they were in there, I actually took your, Patriot patch, the backer of the, patches, how you give the female or the opposite end of the patches there.
Yeah.
The Not a Fed, if you buy the Not a Fed big stick, patch, it has this huge, nice swath of square material that made it so then it's not sticky and it doesn't catch the next pouch next to it. But basically 3 of these big pouches fit perfectly, and I mean perfectly, in this Pelican. And then on the top you can fit these things called SAM splints, which are just like they're like foam covered aluminum that you can fold up and make different splint options for. They're pretty cheap. I think like $15 a pop. So I've got 2 of those. Those are handy for, making any kind of splinting or supportive issues if you break anything. Then it leaves a little corner for, I have the little bags of, regular med kits. So basically, this fills perfectly everything I need. And it's kind of, the only thing I need to order still is, on these, I think you said I can get them on Amazon or eBay. There's places there that you can get custom embroidered, tags. So my only other plan is to, now that I need to sit with this for a while and just make sure this is how I want each one of these pouches to be. Mm-hmm. But they have this, the fuzzy side of the Velcro on the faceplate of all these pouches. So I will make a hook and loop embroidered tag on here, like this one's your bleeding kit, and that's everything if you're bleeding. And then this one has whatever in it. And so I have those 3 there. I'll get tags for them. So if it's not just me that is the one that's entering into this kit, they'll know what's in it without having to know ahead of time.
That's a really good idea.
The only thing I haven't put in here yet, I just got the pieces, is, have you seen this phenomenon of pocket pharmacies? So when I said previously on those kits, I was buying those miniature pill bottles, which worked fine. They're just regular style pill bottles, but they're smaller. But there's a link in the show notes for it's Pocket Pharmacy, they call them, but it's they're on Amazon, and they are just these little square organizers, and they are they have a 10 little compartments. So it's like a clamshell, and it's only like 3x4 square. And then it clamshells open, and then there's 10 little individual components.
Keep all your date rape drugs separate.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a drug dealer kit, really, but it's like a raver's kit, really.
Yeah.
but in theory, but there's like this whole cottage industry. Like if you go to Etsy and everything, you can buy the downloaded images for like all of those doors, because they print you can print like the boxes of the over the counter drugs like Excedrin, like the actual boxes, like the graphics. Yeah. They print them and then they put them right on the sticker material right on those doors. So the doors you open, what's behind it.
That's really
so it doesn't look cheesy.
Yeah.
Really cool idea, because you don't need a whole pill bottle. You just need like 10 pills in that little box there. So I bought a 6-pack of these things for like $8, I think it was. So I just got those in. It's Prime Day when they're just after recording this, or just before this. So I bought those, and I just got them. So I'm going to start filling those in. I'm going to replace some of those pill bottles with those, so I can keep a more variety assortment of pills in this kit. Because I have one of these pouches has those like tear apart, paper pills, like the single use ones for like Benadryl and stuff like that. So this will be a little bit nicer eventually to put into, but Pocket Pharmacy will be in there. The med pouches, I put 3 of those in there, and then I put them in different colors so you can kind of memorize, like, okay, red is bleeding, orange is not as extreme as red, so it'll be for lesser injuries, and then there's a green one that's different for that. But there's a few things I haven't bought yet that I still need to get, and those are the things that are in italics here on the top of my list. But like Quick Clot, I've got a little bit of Quick Clot in my actual battle belt setup, but Quick Clot is really expensive, like really expensive. So I haven't bought enough to go in all my kits yet. And then I don't know how you pronounce this, nasal pharyngeal airway. It's the thing that you shove in somebody's nose to get airway. It's another one of those things like we were talking about before that I don't think I would necessarily use because I don't have the proper training, but like as a kit, if somebody needs to use it, great.
Yeah, these are all things in those trauma kits I got.
Exactly.
More of an actual trauma situation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they said that most people can do it, just by orienting the person's head to open an airway. But if somebody really does need it and somebody knows how to do it, I guess I would do it if absolutely need be. But, hopefully never have to do that. Pen light. I was looking at pen lights and everything. I actually thought about I was about to buy one at Cabela's, because when we were going to that water park the other day, we went to Cabela's. I very rarely go to Cabela's because it's like over an hour away. And we stopped in, and actually I bought another prepping item. I bought a bunch of, Mountain House meals. I've been out, and we bought a variety to test which flavors I liked, because I knew I used to like the spaghetti one, and we bought lasagna ones, but we're going to try them again just to make sure. Then I'm going to order some more, just keeping all the backpacks and the go bags and stuff like that, because I didn't realize they have 30-year shelf lives now.
Oh,
I don't think the ones that I used to have, they didn't have that long. No. These all have 30-year shelf lives.
That's a long time trapped in a gondola.
So I bought that, and then I also bought one of those little pocket rocket isobutane stoves, because I was like, okay, if I have an adventure medical kit, or a Mountain House meal in my bag, how the hell am I going to boil the water? So between a little $8-10 stove thing, and then the gas canisters only like $3 at the store. I bought a couple of those. Then I just need to buy a titanium pot for it to all boil in, but then I'll have everything. But back to the med kit. There's a few things like ice packs. I've got a couple here I need to move, but it's very simple stuff like gauze, roller gauze, Mylar blankets, tape strips, antibiotic ointments, Band-Aids, Benadryl, Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin, hydrocortisone cream, insect sting relief wipes. But then this is the other things that were getting a little different. eye wash. Didn't even think about eye wash,
Yeah.
you know? And, so I bought a bottle of it right on Amazon. It's sealed and it fits right in there. I think you could probably even use it as like a saline solution to clean a wound out, probably, right? If it's good enough for your eye, I would trust it in a cut,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
it's kind of just like sterile water, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I bought that, and then Sharpies. I bought a pack. The link in I don't know if I'd buy them on Amazon. You can click the link in there so you know what I'm talking about. But I think they sent me fake Sharpies. I'm so getting sick of Amazon's counterfeit stuff. But they sell these miniature Sharpies. They're like half size of a normal Sharpie.
Yeah.
And I think they're meant for like nurses and everything because they have these like lanyard rings where you can hang them from your neck, you know, and then pull it down.
I've never seen those, huh?
I never did either, but I thought this is amazing because, you know, in a tourniquet, because you need it for a tourniquet. Because if you apply a tourniquet, you're supposed to write on the tourniquet what time you've put it on or write it on your body or the body that you did. Because I guess the medical professional wants to know how long it's been on for whatever reason. But there's no sense in putting a full-size Sharpie in with every tourniquet. So I bought a pack of these miniature ones, and they're great. They're like little stubby ones, and they fit perfectly in all these little kits. So the Sharpie, these pressure dressings, I did all the NAR pressure dressings, which is basically, if you don't know what it is, it's like think of it like a big pad of gauze with like an ace bandage attached to it. So you like apply it right to the wound, and then it has a stretchy bandage that you just roll around the appendage, and then it has these clips that lock it on. So it's like a all-in-one solution there. Tourniquets, I bought a couple tourniquets extra for this kit specifically because I didn't want to steal from other kits. Chest seals. Yeah, we talked about chest seals before. Wound packing gauze. The difference between wound packing gauze, which is what you actually shove into a hole, is it's got a little blue line built into it that shows up on x-ray. So you can really shove it in the body cavity. And then when they get to the hospital, they can take an x-ray and make sure they got it all back out of the person. Trauma shears. I bought a whole bunch of trauma shears, and they're in all these kits from North American Rescue. Gloves. This is a cool thing. Nitrile gloves you can buy pretty much anywhere, but I think I would recommend getting from North American Rescue or somewhere like that because they sell these bear claw gloves, and it's one pair of gloves. I don't know how the hell they do it, but they fold them and compress them, and then they wrap them in like a piece of cardboard. They get them so much smaller than an average person would be able to get them. I'll show you a pair here. Sorry, excuse the noise here. I don't know how they get them this small, but the average person is not going to be able to get them this way. So like that is a pair of gloves wrapped up, and it's like the size of 2 AA batteries side by side. You know, it's tiny. So I put a bunch of these pairs in, and they sell them like in a pack of 25, and they were in all my pre-existing kits that I bought that were already pre-kitted. And so I opened up a pair just to make sure that the sizing was right, because they come in a couple different sizes. So I want to make sure the right size before I ordered a big pack of them. So ordered those, and I got them kind of just stashed in here. You never know when you're going to need all those. And then like burn dressings, which is like a 5x5 pad, like for, it's got like a gel. It's like a gel, impregnated thing. Yeah. Triangular bandages for like making splints and everything. These SAM splints that we talked about it before. The oval eye pads that put over your eyes if you, need to prevent anything from getting back in there. Got those in here. They're like little, basically it looks like a pair of glasses. That's the frames that like when the lens popped out of a frame. And then the other thing I did that I thought was kind of interesting is I also bought these CPR guide quick references, and I put them in the bottom of the kit. So they're big laminated, cool. Quick reference guides. And there's a link to Amazon on these ones I bought. There's one for CPR, and it's just a big trifold guide, and it tells you about every common thing. And then there's one for first aid as well. And I figured, in the heat of the moment, you may not remember your training. Or never had the training in the first place. So this is in the kit as well, to reference in the time of need. And then this is the main kit, but then like I also duplicated it with my plate carriers. The plate carrier just needs a tourniquet and a Sharpie on it. So that's pretty simple. So I have 2 of those. I have 2 plate carriers. So each plate carrier has a tourniquet hanging on it with a Sharpie. And then I have 2 battle belts, and both of those have a little med pouch on the battle belt. And one of them I had a T-Rex Arms med pouch on the back, which is really cool because it's got a zipper, and then you zipper it out from the back because it sits right behind your back, and then it has this big flap that you just pull it up, and it's got the tray that pulls everything out with it. Mm-hmm. So you just pull it out, so you don't have to you're not working out of the pouch. The pouch is just there to hold the tray that you pulled everything out, because behind you can't see it anyways, right? So you just need to pull this big flap or flag that you can grab, and then you pull it around, and you can get to it from either side. Well, I have that in my main battle belt, and that med pouch is like $50, I want to say, something like that. Pretty expensive. But for my secondary battle belt, which I don't really use that often, I wanted to try something similar, so I bought a knockoff one on Amazon. It's the, Chinesium brand, but it was $18. And honestly, I got it, and I know it's not a T-Rex Arms, USA made one and everything, but it's pretty hard to tell the difference, honestly. So it's very similar. The link's in the show notes if you want to see which one I got there. But in those 2 kits, they're the same kit basically, but that has a tourniquet, 2 sets of chest seals, wound packing gauze, compressed gauze, pressure dressing. And for those pressure dressings, using the small 4-inch one so it doesn't take up a huge amount of room, set of shears, gloves. Those do have Quick Clot in them. And then Sharpie. I figured the battle belts should have Quick Clot because if you're using that kit, it probably actually is a gunshot wound, and you probably do want Quick Clot in those for a reason. And then I did a separate kit for the range bag, and these I had North American kits already that they have these little zippered pouches. They're little Molly pouches. They're just like they're about the size of a tourniquet, but they're just wider, so they're pretty small. And that has as a tourniquet, chest seals, wound packing, pressure dressing, trauma shears, gloves, Quick Clot, Mylar blanket, and Sharpie. So you see a pattern here. It's a lot of the same stuff, just spread apart. So you see I have it in battle belts, range bag, and then in my car have the same thing, and then my wife's car have the same thing. So pretty much everywhere I will be in a normal situation, I have access to the same amount of things. This trauma kit has more in it, obviously, and this I put in the garage, right between the house and the garage, right in the doorway there. So it's and it's low enough for Cam to get if he needs it. It's bright orange, can't miss it. I figured if we're going on a road trip or somewhere long, we'd probably take it if we had room. It's nice to have, but no matter what, it's in the house. And then every car has a mobile kit that's smaller. And then every place that I'm going with a gun has a more gun specific kit. So I think I have this pretty well covered now. I feel pretty good about it. Like I said, I have to order a couple more little things and little identification tags, but I feel pretty good about it. And I think I'm good for the moment.
Yeah, those are pretty much the same kits I got in the cars. Although I need to go back through the cars and do simple Band-Aid kits again, because the kids have pillaged what we've had. And so I realized I need to redo that, because we were doing some Boy Scout stuff, aluminum can sorting and stuff. And I cut my finger on a broken beer bottle. And I realized I had the trauma kit, but I didn't have Band-Aids or anything, really to clean that out with and, or get it taken care of right there. I had to wait till I got home, which I wasn't crazy about, but.
And if you're starting from nothing, you don't have any of this gear, I would say just go to North American Rescue, get this mini first aid kit for law enforcement. It's $82. It has the nice pouch that I'm talking about. It's the exact pouch I already have. And it has the tourniquet, the trauma dressing, gauze, the chest seals, and gloves. It gets you 90% of the way there right away. Actually, you can buy it with combat gauze and stuff already in it, so it goes up a little bit there, but you can get the different colors and everything, and that it's like a one and done, one click, and you got pretty much everything you need without having to hand pick everything like we did.
Yeah, so your Pelican, or your knockoff Pelican case, so is that modeled exactly after another kit you've seen you can buy like that, or did you just kind of do that?
Yeah, so if you, in the show notes, the one where it says the inspiration, that link there goes to a amphibious trauma aid kit.
I missed that. Sorry.
ATAC. Yeah, that is the kit.
50 kit. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I was like, ooh, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
But that gives you a lot of, because I already had a lot of the supplies, so I didn't have to buy a ton of it. But it's $750. If you had nothing and you just wanted everything, you could look at a lot of the stuff. But it has, that specific kit comes with 2 tourniquets, 2 6-inch, it has a lot of stuff. Just go look at the thing. But if you notice, a lot of the stuff I bought is a lot of the stuff that I was missing from here. And that's where I got the inspiration from.
Yeah. No, I like what you did here. I like how you put it together and, found good enclosures that are not, the name brand stuff necessarily, but it's basically the same, the Harbor Freight Pelicans are just as good.
Yeah, they're not the biggest downfall I'd say is they don't have a real pressure relief valve like a Pelican does. They have a screw.
Oh.
It's they unscrew, but it's okay. But yeah, other than that, I think they've been fine for what I'm trying to do with them. There seem to be a lot of people that are happy with them. No issues for how much they are. I think without a sale, I bought this on a 20% off sale. Harbor Freight does those 20% off coupons, often. And it's only $40 for the case normally. And this same Pelican, I think, is normally $150, I think they say. So
yeah,
that's a big difference.
I wonder if anyone, maybe you could YouTube it later, but I wonder if anyone's hacked these Harbor Freight cases and put an actual pressure relief valve, Pelican style valve in them. I wonder if that's something you can do.
You might be able to. I mean, it's just a hole, right? And to mount what it is there.
And that would be just as good in my mind. So I don't know. You guys are going to have to decide what works best for you and your family and your situation. Think about how many people are in your family and what types of outings and things you do and what types of, vehicles you have. You might do a kit for your place of work if there's no, a lot of people's place of works, the first aid station, if they even have one, is a joke. So, doing one for work might be a good idea too.
Yeah, and this North American Rescue actually has kits for
commercial places.
Mm-hmm. Kits for work. They have these full ones, and it's based on how many people are there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do have it. So yeah, especially if work's buying for it, get a good one. A public access bleeding control 8-pack for $500 for that, or they have them with the cases or with the wall mounts and everything for
right
$500 to $800. But yeah, it's it makes me feel good that it's done. I would hate to be something happen that I don't have it. Don't have what I need.
Right. That's kind of the mindset we have to have in this world, though. So you put together a really good list here. I can put all this in the show notes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so you guys can check out show notes at Firearms Radio Network, and Zach's even got some direct links to Amazon and Harbor Freight, but I think what's really good is you got everything listed out in text, too, so you guys can kind of do a checklist here and see what you might need.
That's literally what it came from. I had an Apple Notes in there because Apple Notes, you can just make little checklists, and as I made sure I had it, I would check it off. And cause I put it all together and was separating it out into what kit was what. It was a little overwhelming at first, but as just working through a checklist, got through it.
Cool. Well, about wraps us up. Patriot Patch Company helps keep this episode going, so check out the Patch of the Month Club. Check out the cleaning mats, the signs, all the awesome patches over at patriotpatch.co. Don't forget to use one of the FRN promo codes to get a free Firearms Radio Network morale patch with your order. You gotta enter one of those FRN codes. If you don't have one, feel free to email me, message me on Facebook, anything like that. You can shoot us emails at gunguyradio@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network. And if you need website design, graphic design, anything like that, check out Ryan Cross over at Hunter of Design. Well, that about wraps us up. Zach, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.